also got his life membership for 10 consecutive seasons and was one of the 4 internationals out of that year. Obviously Bill, Peter Diamond, Don Parrish and Arthur Summons. Arthur's here with us, who captained Australia in the 3rd Test, which was a great moment in Australian Rugby League history because we got a win, didn't we, Arthur?
Well, I blamed Lawler for cheating on us in 63, but I think he helped us in 62.
Not the least of which telling Irvine to reposition the pill.
Yes, he told Kenny Irvine to reposition the pill, and he also, there was a forward pass from Billy Carson to Kenny Irvine, and Kenny scored, and away we went, and then Irvine kicked the goal. So we're a bit lucky. More arse than class, but it doesn't matter. It was all right.
Well, Billy always said it was only just a little bit forward.
Billy's not here to tell you. But no, it was a great win, but again, in those days they could do anything as referees. It's a bit harder nowadays, so I suppose the game's better for it.
Now, 1962, from West's point of view, you captained in the grand final, but Kel O'Shea had been the captain for the season. He played his 100 first grade games. How was the lead-up coming into the grand final in Kel's place as captain? Well,
it was, you know, it's always difficult to take over sort of halfway through, and certainly to replace a bloke like Kel O'Shea. And I'd wish him well. They tell me he's not too flush at the moment, so let's hope that he continues on. But no, it was a big honour for me, certainly to captain certainly to captain Australia, and then certainly to captain a club side such as West. And I was delighted by it. And unfortunately, we couldn't get up in the 3 grand finals. So the second one in 62, which we're talking about, I think it was a 9-6 result. And I don't know who refereed, but anyway, Bradley. Oh well, Bradley. You wouldn't know what happened then, but but anyway, I think they were too good, and they were a great side, St George. So you can't decry the fact that they won 11 premierships straight, and it's probably a record never to be beaten. I think they changed the rules really to try and accommodate other sides to get close to St George. Yes, to 4 tackles, and then of course they still won, so they changed it to 6, and so on it went. But anyway, it was a privilege to play against them, and I've still got some very good mates from the St George club.
Well, of course, 62 was the closest margin, as we mentioned before. But I mean, 63, we can argue that we're very unlucky, obviously, with a few things that happened. But it seemed, from observation, that the West side was melding together very well with Jack Fitzgerald as coach.
Well, Jack was a wonderful coach. There was no question about that, and he bonded us really well, and we were all very good mates. I had to put up with bloody Malone throwing me shitty passes every now and again, but other than that, it was a great side. Jimmy Cody, of course. Norm Proven told me later on that he said to Billy Wilson, he said, "Now be careful, this Cody's out to get you." He said, "So don't do anything wrong. We're in front a bit," and he said, "We can keep going, but don't get sucked in. Cody's out to steady you up." Anyway, Cody put one on him, and Billy Wilson whacked him back, and Billy Wilson was sent off.
Yeah, Jimmy, you had the last laugh. Yeah.
You don't remember that?
Vaguely. Now, that sort of spirit that was West in that period, I mean, obviously Saints, remarkable thing, 11 years, as you've said, but West, if Saints had taken out of the equation, probably would have had an era of their own. There must have been a tremendous fabric and spirit within the club.
Well, there certainly was, and it dated back from the 61, 2 and 3. To be in 3 premierships in itself's a great feat. St George to be in 11 is even greater. But it does bond you, and it certainly gives you a closeness of camaraderie that I don't suppose people would ever know unless they are in grand finals. And to be in one like that and not win one is devastating. To lose one's bad enough, but to lose 3 is even worse. But still, we were there, and we give them a bit of a hurry up at the time, and unfortunately we couldn't get there.
Did you have any concept of Mad Monday back then?
Well, I can't remember them. I was pissed most of the bloody time, so I don't remember anything.
Now, you gave a bit of a serve about combinations, but what about Noel Kelly? Ned gave you a bit of hurry up when you first arrived as a rah-rah halfback.
Yeah, well, when I changed from Union to League, and I think in 62 Kelly came down from Queensland, so he was used to Barry Muir, who was the best half-back cheat you'd ever see, and he was used to him winning the ball. So he used to say to me, listen, Artie, coming up the scrum, he said, you win it. I had no bloody idea where to put it even, let alone win it. And we were playing against South, and Billy Anderson was a hooker, and he was a pretty quick striker. So Kelly's lost about 7 scrums or 8 scrums or 10 scrums, I don't know how many, but he lost a few on end. So he was really getting the shits, and you know how Ned can blow up. We were running up to the scrum, and he said, you win the scrum, Artie. I said, how do I do that? And he said, oh, for Christ's sake. Anyway, so I put it in. Billy Anderson wins it again. He's burst out of the scrum. He's the worst fucking halfback I've ever played with.
Of course, you got even kind of in '63 on the Kangaroo Tour as captain coach. You had Barry Muir, the cockroach creator, as one of your great lieutenants.
Well, I've had a great camaraderie with kids from, or halfbacks from Queensland, actually. I toured the British Isles with rugby in 1957 for 7 months, and Des Connor was the halfback. And then I toured, or took the side away, fortunately, a great privilege to captain your country and coach the Australian side in 63-4, and Barry Muir was a halfback, a Queensland halfback. So both of those boys I have a great kinship with.
Good on you, Arthur. And we noticed that Ned's still absent. What he's doing in Nebraska, we don't know. Chow didn't come up here. Unusual for Chow to miss a chance to talk, but there you go. And Jimmy, you got a vague memory of succouring in Billy Wilson. It was probably all the blood and the concussion that are sort of veiling the memory.
Yeah, it's funny what a small world it is. My wife is second cousin to one of Billy's sons' wives, and I was doing a plasterboard job on their house up on the north coast, and she said, Bluey's young bloke's wife said, how you going, Jim? How's Terry, my wife? And I said, oh, she's going well. And I said, do you realise your father-in-law bashed me when I was a kid? And she reeled back and said, no, I didn't know that. And I said, it was on the football field. She said, oh. I said, yeah, he belted me in a grand final, and I wasn't looking, and, blah, blah. That covered, but, Bluey got had the pub up at Nambucca Heads, and great bloke, and, he's 2 young blokes are still up there, and tied up in football.
Well, he was about 42, I think, when he finished playing at North. He wasn't a young man.
North, yeah.
Now, Irish, in 1962, you played your 100 games for the club, and you also played 58, in fact, 3 grand finals. Now, in the history of West, that's a pretty rare achievement. I think Keithy Holman's in that category of actually getting 2 premiership blazers when he wasn't there, 48 and 52, and he played in 58 and 61. Peter Diamond played 4 grand finals, but you're in the very elite group of having played 3, and there must be some great memories of all of that.
Yeah, it was a privilege, especially for me, to play with such people like Arthur, and inspirational type of people to be out there with. They seem to lift you.
And a great club. Now, did you ever get a spray from Ned for how you fed the...
Only when I missed the centre in the scrum.
Sounds fair. Well, guys, thanks very much for coming up for the 62 side. It was just a hair's breadth in it. The narrowest margin, 9-6 in that Saints era. Congratulations to them all. I should point out we also made the second grade grand final, and they missed out by a whisker to St George as well. Over to Bruce.
A round of applause for Rick Wade for that interview. Gentlemen, did another good job by Rick. This time we're going to go to the Amco Cup in 1977 with a video. Bear with us while we put it on. I thought I heard a schistral pot. You right to go, Darren? Thank you. The 1977. And after this, Mick Lewiskus will have a chat with Tommy Terrific. Now we got some sound.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the richest rugby league game in the world today. And so it's welcome to the 1977 AMCO Cup final. Western Suburbs with Tommy Raudonikis as captain.
The Magpies were taking on a star-studded Eastern Suburbs, including Beatson, Fulton, Fairfax, Schubert, Harris, O'Reilly and Coote. Western Suburbs were represented by fullback John Dorahy, three-quarters Trevor Scarr, Gavin Miller, Ken Hay and Ron Gitto. The halves Peter Rolls and Tom Raudonikis, and forwards Graham O'Grady, Stephen Blythe, Jeff Foster, Dallas Donnelly, John Purcell and Pat Hundy. From the bench, Jeff Smith.
And so Dorahy kicks off. Guarding the grandstand in, it's won by the Magpies, it's with Dorahy. Dorahy looking to split them, but Fairfax with a try-saving tackle. Inches from the line.
Who could know when the Magpies started their road trip on August the 13th, 1977, that they would win the lucrative AMCO Cup, and even more importantly, restore West's competitive image throughout the rugby league world. They blitzed Brisbane Norths 60-0 at Lang Park. Another trip to Brisbane's league headquarters on June 8th to decisively beat Redcliffe 20-2. A very satisfying 27-7 demolition of St George in a quarter-final at Leichhardt on July 6th. Then a tense 8-7 success over Canterbury in the semi August 10th at Leichhardt Oval. Living proof that the Magpies could handle cup football.
With the touch judge in what appears to be a heated discussion.
Yes, Beatson not too happy about the referee.
The Magpies' winning effort in 1977 provided another result, substantially assisting the legal team that succeeded in the fight for survival with the New South Wales Rugby League in the mid-1980s. The league had excluded West from the Premiership, but not from the Midweek Cup.
The opening 2 points in the AMCO Cup, 77 final, and West lead East by...
The 1977 AMCO Cup was West's first major trophy since 1952. Coach Keith Holman was the link between the two eras. Yappy had played in the 52 Premiership side and had helped restore Magpie pride in 77. The Western Suburbs club was saddened by the loss of arguably its greatest warrior in October 2011. Keith played most first-grade games, 203 for West.
Winding himself up now towards the halfway. Foster the tackler. Metcalf going to ground, and the tackle count has been restarted by referee Cook. Beatson getting it away to Hastings, then to Terry Murphy. Has Schubert with him. Schubert on a big run. Down the left flank has Dorahy to beat. That's the only defender. Beautifully infield there to Laurie, and Laurie's taken there by O'Grady. Scramble back down.
Forward, and how the Western Suburbs defence got across or got back in time to save a dangerous situation, it's hard to fathom out from here, but this has been synonymous with West East performances in recent weeks. They've squandered a lot of tries. A drastic change. Graham O'Grady moves from lock to back out to 5'8". A lot of concern in the West dressing room too that Raudonikis' hand might have gone again. You notice that it's very heavily strapped at the moment.
O'Grady now looking for this opening and doing very well.
It's a bit slow to capitalise on that then. The possession was there.
Usually they're very quick onto it, aren't they?
Another scrum win by Western Suburbs, and Jeff Smith playing in number 15, tackled just on his own side of the halfway. Goes to dummy half. Smith cuts out Donnelly to Foster. Out to Hay. Chancey pass. Pickett nearly was there for the intercept. Raudonikis. Foster. Sweeping it wider to Gitto. Now it's with Stephen Blythe. Raudonikis working the blind, turning it back to Donnelly. And Raudonikis scoops it out quickly. There's a chance here for West. It's with Hay. He's got on his right. It's Peter Rolls, I think. Yes, it's Rolls out on the right flank. Back to Miller.
Cover there again.
Yes.
And a lot of West pressure again now, Keith.
Another scrum to Western Suburbs. They work the blind side to Gitto. He's around Fairfax. Beatson's with him now. Raudonikis shooting it out to O'Grady. Quick hands by Miller. Cutting out Hay. It's gone to Rolls. He stepped round Schubert. Fairfax across in brilliant cover. Dummy half is Foster. To the blind side to Donnelly. That John Gray gave Ron Hilditch in a semi-final of the Amco Cup last year. I think from memory, John, it was an 18-6 victory your way.
Don't really remember.
And so the tap to be taken by Foster. Now West are putting a set move up. They've got Donnelly and Hundy guarding Rodonicus. It's with Rodonicus. Blythe. Smith. Foster. Cut out. Gone to Blythe. Chopping his legs from under him. A shot for field goal by Peter Rolls. That's the kick from last week. It's successful. Is it? Yes. Rolls has kicked another field goal. There he is, Peter Rolls, son of Ron Rolls, a former great winger, with the mantle of that match-winning field goal against Canterbury last Wednesday. He makes the three-quarter time score. West 5, East 2 in the Amco Cup final. Rolls. O'Grady, he has a shot, he's kicked it! What a magnificent field goal by O'Grady!
Easton now got to score near the post, haven't they?
That's right, it means a big difference now, of course, because they've got to score a try, kick the goal.
For a more exciting finish, watch Fairfax's try. And surely this would have given the Steve Rogers try a run for its money, a perfect chip, and then regathered as it bounced up as though it was on a radar control. And Fairfax brings it to 6-5 with West leading, and Fairfax has this relatively simple kick for goal.
I wouldn't think it'd be simple at this particular stage for the line if he'd have come around to improve his position, but he should be on top of the world, and what an important kick this is.
Russell Fairfax poised now to win the Amco Cup for Eastern Suburb. A $60,000 kick, $17,500 if he loses. And he's moving in, and he's missed it!
Don't take it so hard, Russell. Even Joe Cool can miss him. There was plenty for West fans to celebrate. The 1977 Amco Cup win, also winning the Under-23s Premiership in 77. The first grade minor premiership in 1978 and another Under-23s Grand Final would usher in a very competitive first grade era under Roy Masters, including a reserve grade premiership in 1981. The Magpies were on the rise.
And there's a shot of the crowd as they mill in now to welcome their heroes of Western Suburbs.
It was a truly tight final on August 17th, 1977. West home 6-5. 2 goals to John Dorahy, pressure field goals from Peter Rolls and Graham O'Grady. The Magpies had no shortage of kickers on the night. Another, Ron Gitto, literally waiting on a wing.
But will Russell Fairfax ever forget that failure to convert a truly Fairfax super try in the last few moments? In just a few moments, as we take you away from Leichhardt and bring you back for their summary in just a moment, and then after that we'll have the ground stage announcements compared by John Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent, and I'm sure that you'd all like to hear words of victory from Tommy Rodonicus.
Well, I'd just like to thank Amco Cup and Mr. Wilson for the great competition, and I'd like to just thank Arthur and his boys for a great game. But I just say on behalf of my players and the club, I'd just like to thank our coach Keith Holman. He's gone through a tremendous lot this year. He's copped a lot of criticism, and I suppose this is some compensation for Keith, so thanks very much, Keith, for your effort. And all you fans out there, like, you know, we've let you down this year, but we've won this competition for you anyway. Thanks very much.
Would Graham O'Grady like to step forward and collect his prize? Congratulations, Graham. Well done.
I don't generally say much, but I'd like to thank Singapore Airlines, their tours, and Mr. Pyle. And I'm lost for words. I'd like to thank all my teammates, because without them I wouldn't have got here. And, well, there can only be one winner, and I'm glad it's us. I'm sorry, Artie, but that's the way she goes. Thank you.
It's truly been a night for the Magpies. Looking at Greece, London and Singapore. Here comes Graham O'Grady.
So whether you are rich or handsome, won't get you anything in girls. You gotta be a football hero to get along with the beautiful girls. You gotta be a football hero to get along with the beautiful girls. Woo!
Snake was off to Europe, but the rest of the team, plus officials, were off to Hawaii.
Give the Ampol Cup winners a round of applause. Come on, fellas. 1977. Gentlemen, to do an interview with Tom Terrific. Tommy Regenicus is going to say hello to Mick. Just so would you come up, please, Tommy, the captain of the 1977 Ampol Cup winning team, Tom Terrific. Amco Cup, not Ampol. Amco Cup, you silly idiot. They don't make Ampol anymore, do they? That's shit.
Hey, Tommy. Mate, I'm impressed with Bruce. Labinskas, Radonicus, and he's still pissed. Hey, Tom, thanks for coming down for this, mate. Just your thoughts on that game and looking at, you know, your great friend Arthur Beetson in there and the tough contest. What's your thoughts on what you remember about that game?
Mick, before I talk about that, look, it's just great to be here, but it's a day, I think we look back to the 52 grand final, and to those words, so I just wrote a couple of them, to Dev Dines and Cole Ratcliffe. To hear you blokes speak about that grand final was something special, and when I seen the emotion when Cole was talking, or what the boys were talking, the emotion in their faces was something was really something wonderful. I really mean that, because guys, you got to remember, I've never won a grand final, and although I did win the Anco Cup, that's not a grand final. But to hear the emotion come out here was all about Western Suburbs. And it's funny, when I got here today, I went for a little walk down to the ground there, and I walked out on the ground by myself, and I had a look at that wonderful stadium. And that's that wonderful stadium where you guys in 52 made history. And look, I only wish I could have achieved those things in my day, but look, congratulations. I think it's absolutely wonderful, you blokes. Terrific. The Amco Cup, it was something special, and Yappy, he was the coach, and actually I've been to a number of funerals this year, and one was, of course, was Yappy Holm, and a couple of Pat Sheps, another great mate I coached up there with Alfie Langer, and then my other mate, Arthur Beeson. I got very close to Arthur in the last 8 years. He fell off his bike and had a heart attack and died, and I'm dirty on Arthur because I'm not getting so many guest speaking jobs anymore. But listen, but I do miss him greatly. But look, it's just great to be here. But the Amco Cup, like I said about Yappy, and what a great player he was. And I never seen him play, and I would have loved to play against him or with him. It would have been absolutely wonderful. But it was something we weren't expected to win that night at at Leichhardt Oval, and it was in-quarter football, and we won that match, and I think it was just something that Western Suburbs needed at that time. It wasn't a grand final, whatever, but I think it was just great for us to win it, Mick, you know, and it was good. And I remember I ended up playing lock that day, and what's his name came off and played halfback too, and he was a great little player too. What was his name, the halfback?
Smithy?
Yeah, Jeff Smith came on and played.
And Rolsey played a good role as well.
Yeah, he
now, mate, you know when Fairfax chipped over the top and they're all standing behind the goalpost?
Yeah.
I mean, was there a wish there, miss it, you prick,
get
it out of the road,
my word there was, you know, we just sort of said, well, he hope you missed this, you know, which he did miss it, you know, so it was wonderful. At least something went my way for once, you know, so it was good, you know, but it was, you know, look, Western Suburbs was great, and that was great, but when you hear this history, what these blokes did in 52, I think it was absolutely fantastic.
Tommy, you know, you talk about the history and about all the great players here. Mate, I quite agree. It's just fantastic to have Devon Cole here today, just to celebrate this day as the major focal point. But, mate, it was a milestone for yourself. Yeah. Mate, you won a comp with West, which is fantastic. I really appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, it was good too. And I just remember a story, old Ned, you know, he was just there. And I remember I came down from Wagga, guys, in 1969, you know, where I'd come before June the 30th or whatever it was, and I only had 2 reserve grade games. I remember, Ned, where are you? Ned come up to me and he said, after 2 reserve grade, he said, oh, you're in first grade. We had to play the great St George side. And I said, oh, Jesus. And he said, don't worry about aiming up. He said, just keep playing the way you play, and you look just exactly like me. Well, have a look at me, you know. No teeth, no nothing, you know. So, but listen, it's been absolutely great. But listen, it's really good to see all the blokes here. What about Blythe? He's probably one of the best defenders we've ever seen. I'll tell you a quick story about Stephen Blythe over here. Anyway, I forget where we went. We went away for a trial somewhere. Might have been Oberon or something, Blythe, you know, or somewhere like that, with Roy Masters, and Roy's out the back there. Good to see you, Roy. Anyway, me and Blythe went for a walk this morning, and we're walking past the police station. Say it was an Orange, where it was, and we're walking past this police station, and you wouldn't believe it, here's this cattle dog laying on his back, licking the way it's going, you know, and Blythe's gone over and he said, Jesus, Tom, he said, I wish I could do that. I said, well, you better pat him first because he might bite you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tommy. Thanks, Bruce.
Another bit of...
Can I butt in, mate? Can I butt in?
Guys, he's going to butt in and talk about the raffle.
The raffle. There'll be some sellers going out. Paddy Regan, my young bloke. 3 for 5, 5 for 10. There's put your hand in your pocket, sell up the raffle tickets, and we'll draw it today so you can take it home today. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bruce, just one butt in. You used to butt ins, aren't you?
Yes.
Blow-ins and butt-ins?
What can I do for you, Rick?
Okay. I just wanted to say, Tommy talked about playing 2 reserve grade games. His coach was Bill Owens. I mean, Bill dines out on, he taught you everything you know, but we could probably go on about that for a while. I just wanted to get a plug in for Billy. What he does with the videos is enormous for the club. He couldn't be here today, it's an apology, but just maybe 3 cheers for Billy Owens and what he does for the archiving. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. Just a minute there.
Who in the hell let him up here?
We all know that Mick was the forward, and we were talking about the raffle tickets, and Mick said 2 for 5 or 5 for 10. Now, the mathematics doesn't add up. So it's 2 for 5 and 5 for 10. So Mick's a forward, so forgive him.
Jeez, that was important, wasn't it? Thank you, gentlemen. Shh. Just got a few minutes. Now, piss off. I'm busy. If you don't piss off, I'll take an aspirin. Then you can disappear. Get away. Get out. Pest you are. Spray more dengue spray. Get rid of you. Shh. Gentlemen, it's the 1992 Under-21 Grand Final, gentlemen. And after that, Jimmy Smith will interview Jason Benji. So, can we have the video, please? The under 21 Grand Final 1992.
They powered their way towards the line, and in a display of strength that would have pleased the great Noel Kelly, Stephen Tardy crashed across for the first try, and West led by 4 points to 0. And they continue to dominate territory. But a long pass from Josh White out wide was grabbed by St George centre Scott Park. He raced into the open, and as the cover defence arrived, he found Jason Hardy there in support. Hardy raced across towards the sideline and away up to the corner and over for a St George try. Saints had levelled at 4-all. St George went to the lead soon after when Craig Salmon carried the ball close to the line and offloaded to Gordon Tallis, who finished off for an 8-4 lead to the Saints, and a bit of grand final mayhem as both sides exchanged blows and two players ended up in the sin bin for 10 minutes. Saints went further ahead with a penalty goal and led 10-6 at the break, but West came back with a run around by Josh White, a pass to Russell Hill, who sent Evan Cochran in out wide. The Magpies had levelled the scores and the grand final was 10-all. And they went further ahead with a brilliant lead-up play in which Russell Hill handled twice. Michael Grosvenor came into the action and sent Matthew Threlkeld very close to the line. West needed a quick play the ball and a pass out wide. And that pass came, the long cut-out pass, and the opportunities were there for Western Suburbs, and Matt Ryan finished off for the Magpies to lead by 14 points to 10. Saints came back with a good individual effort by Nathan Brown, and the grand final was locked at 14-all. Then Josh White snatched the grand final with a field goal. Western Suburbs, the premiers, by 15 points to 14. Football players, the rugby 18
Are you there, Jim Smith? Jimmy Smith, are you there, please? Jimmy Smith to interview Jason Benji. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Brucey. Actually, why don't we get anyone who was in that 21 squad to come up? Belly, I know Gavin Bell's here. Anyone else? There's quite a few guys. So, first of all, I wanted to say thank you very much to being invited along here today. I only had the 1 year with Western Suburbs, but I've now been coming for the last 2 years, and they're absolutely fantastic functions that you put on. Last year out at the Leagues Club at Ashfield. It's a very, very strong group of past players that you have, and I think you should be very proud of it, and we'll try and help you guys to continue with that strength over the years. Thanks to the chairman, Rodney Cavalier of the SCG Trust. What a great room to be in. Fantastic, great memories. But of course we're here, the 20-year anniversary of the 1992 side, the President's Cup champion side. We've got a few of the players here: Jason Bench, Matt Threlkeld, Matty Ryan and Gavin Bell. Welcome the boys. Jace, I'll start with you, mate. We're just seeing some of the vision, the highlights. Again, another tight game like the AMCO Cup was, 15 points to 14. But what's your overriding memory of the day? What's the one thing that you remember about the game in particular?
Well, mate, I was the goalkeeper at the time, and I didn't last. We scored the first try. Steve Kearney scored the first try. I kicked the goal, and then probably about 10 minutes later, I done my knee. And I was off for the rest of the game, so I just sat there on the sideline in anticipation, just watching. Because St George had it over us. They beat us twice during the year. They always had the wood over us, and like if we beat them, well, it was well and good. But yeah, I just watched the rest of the game from the sideline because I done my knee, and the boys got over there, like Joshy White kicked the field goal. We got there 15-14. So to me, it was a great memory.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've had a look at that team sheet, there's some very strong players in that Dragon side. Nathan Brown was on the bench. Jason Stevens, a future Australian rep, was in the side. Brandon Pearson, Costin. Gordon Tallis was another one, arguably the best forward of his time. So it goes to show how much, I know Steve Kearney was probably the standout player for you guys, but it goes to show how strong you guys were as a team across the board.
For sure, mate. As I said, like, they had the wood on us. Like, they'd beaten us twice. They beat us at home. They beat us at their place. Come the grand final, like we beat the Broncos the week before to get the grand final. We knew it was a huge task. But as fate had, we ended up winning 15-14, so it was a great memory.
Hey, if I could just grab everyone's attention, we're only going to be quick with this gents, so if we could just grab everyone's attention and hear from the guys, that'd be fantastic. You remember much of the celebrations, Jace? You weren't there for the game, I'm sure you were there for the celebrations.
Oh, I went for about 3 or 4 days. Definitely. It would be like any grand final side you're winning, you know, like you definitely remember them times, and you love to catch up with, you know, all your old teammates and just being part of this club. You know, I'm a West Junior, and I'm so proud of that, and it was just, yeah, it was the 21's grand final, but we won it. And that's something we've got hanging for the rest of our lives. And
Absolutely.
So proud.
Yeah, should be proud of it. Gents, put your hands together for Jason Benj, the local junior. Matty Threlkeld, also a local junior.
G'day, Jimmy.
Come on over, mate. We know that Jace unfortunately didn't take part in much of the game. You, of course, played the entire game. What's your overriding memory of the 15-14 win?
Well, I think as Jason said, I mean, we'd been beaten 3 times by St George throughout the year, so I guess we went in as underdogs, but we managed to get in front. It ended up being levelled up, and I think with about 10 to go, we managed to get that field goal, and we just hang on from there. So, you know, great memories. I think it was the, you know, the last premiership, you know, with the Western Suburbs jersey, and certainly great to be here today with a lot of legends of the game. And I just sort of wish maybe we'd sort of had been through this process before we played that game, but all great.
What about someone like Steve Kearney? He's in the news a lot today, a little bit more positive today after the win last night, but back then in 1992, did you know that he went on to have a great career as a player? Did you know he was one of those special players when you were playing with him?
Yeah, I think we did. I mean, when he first came across from New Zealand to Western Suburbs, he was certainly very dedicated. He was obviously there for his rugby league, and you know, I think for some of us that were enjoying some of the festivities around the game, Steve was certainly very committed. He didn't go out, he didn't drink, he didn't smoke. I don't know if he did anything other than focus on his rugby league, and I think that's probably why he's been so successful.
And probably why he's not here today, I'd imagine. But anyway, good on you, Matty. Thanks for that. Matty Ryan, one of the front rowers on the day, up against a guy like Jay Stevens. That must have been a big challenge too, given the fact, you know, he was a guy who went on and, like Stephen Kearney, had a great rep career, great first grade career as well. That presents itself a bit of a challenge on a big day like a grand final.
Absolutely. I mean, you had both Big Jace and GT.
Yeah,
there's nothing. And that's what you always look forward to as a front rower, or I suppose any forward. You're looking for that challenge, especially when you've got opposition like those two, the calibre of those two. I was just saying to Jace just then, St George that year, due to the quality of their side, that a couple of guys had a taste of first grade. They went through that year undefeated. So their first loss of the season was the grand final against us. And so I was, you know, we had the young Wayne Ellis as a coach. I think he was about 100 then, so I don't know how old is he now. But he got us up for the game, and we were focused on the challenge, and we're focused on those two guys and trying to get on top of them. You know, which two guys are pretty hard to get on top of as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Matty, I'm getting the wind up, so we've got to say thanks for that. And Belly, before you go, Gavin Bell, another local junior in the Camden area, mate. Your memories of that day? Again, it's one of those ones that I guess, like the boys here, and knowing that you're the last side to win a premiership in Western Suburbs colours must be a very special day for you.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, we went in very much underdogs. I was like bench. I spent most of the time on the bench, and it was such a relief when the field goal was put over, and yeah, we could have won the game. But that's it.
Fantastic, and it's good to be seeing you guys back here for the reunions as well. Thanks very much to all the guys. Again, thank you to everyone involved in the committee here, the Pratten Pack Magpies. In the future, I know that we had a number of guys who wanted to come today and unfortunately weren't able to, but we hope to keep contributing to this organisation, and in the years to come you'll see more and more guys from the 90s and so forth. So thanks again, and we'll enjoy having a beer later on today.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, boys. Give them a big round of applause, gentlemen. Come on, the under-21 premierships to 1992. Now, this is very important.